Welcome to another wonderful evening of World of Warships. I'm out in the Minikaze. Since the Minikaze got nerfed some weeks ago, I've not been out in it that much. So I have a 9-point captain. Even so, I'm better at stealth than the Farragut in front of me. So I'm calling on Cope to slow down, let me do the scouting. But Farragut's are a hardy little ship, so he's going to rush ahead, get into A, and then pop some smoke. I'm going to pass on the other side of the island and do the scouting. And I suppose between the two of us, me being the eyes and his guns, we should be able to do a fair amount of damage in there. We are being backed up by, looks like a couple of cruisers. So there's the Farragut going in. He's popping smoke, coming to a stop just inside the circle. And I'm about ready to come around on the far side here. So because he's in the smoke, he will literally see nothing. As I come around the far side of the island, the first thing that pops up is a cruiser. I'm not too worried. He's out beyond my detection range, so he's a target for me at this point. And there's another one. And then I get detected. I can't see who's detecting me, which means there's somebody out here. It's the Hatsuharu. The Hatsuharu has detection over the Minikaze, which means that he's got probably at least a 10-point captain and a fair amount of camouflage on that ship. Everybody in the world's trying to unload on me, but I pop smoke and zig and zag and come out relatively damage-free. Now I did launch some. It was a wild guess as to where the Hatsuharu was going to be. He's gone beyond my detection range. And I got one and then 2 torpedoes into him. Didn't sink him. That's the problem with the Minikaze's torpedoes, is that they're just not that potent. But that's my first torpedoes into somebody. And thankfully it was the Hatsuharu, so he'll be a little more shy about coming into the circle, hopefully. I don't want to have to mess with him because the one thing that these Japanese destroyers have is stealth, and if somebody can spot you before you spot them, that advantage is largely lost. So, coming back around, now the other advantage the Minikaze has is the torpedoes reload incredibly fast, probably twice as fast as any of the other ships. So I'm already back in aiming on see what the Shores is going to do. If he looks like he may be going out, but if he comes back in, I'm going to have some torpedoes there waiting for him. So I'll put a couple of torpedoes out about where he should be, and then I got one more set. There's something over there in that smoke screen, and so I will dump another. Some torpedoes coming out of that smoke screen. Somewhere in there, there's a destroyer. Probably a little bit fast for that to be the Hatsuharu, so it's probably another destroyer in there. Now at this point I'm the only one of my teammates in A, and I'm keeping them from capping. I'm undetected at this point, so I'm actually going to come to a stop, reload. Again, already I'm reloaded up on torpedoes. I'm going to fling a bunch of torpedoes into that smoke cloud. Now that little pocket in front of me is technically in the circle, and if I get spotted, that's where I'm going to rush into. And yep, I get detected. It is who's detecting me? It is the Mahan. He's bringing guns to bear. Once I get back behind the rock here, it gives up on me because it is such a poor firing solution. Certainly the torpedoes aren't going to get me, and the Mahan has other issues to worry about at the moment because he's spotted by a number of ships. Yes, I'm colliding with the island intentionally because I don't want to leave anything exposed that can get shot at. Now that I'm reloaded with torpedoes, though, will kick it into reverse and back out so I can let loose another volley. Then the Mayhem has run into the end of the island there, so he'll be backing up. I'm going to put one behind him, and then again, there's something to shoot at in that cloud of smoke, but these are basically blind shots. Since I'm not detected, I'm going to wait here a little while longer. This is the sort of sublime part of being a Japanese destroyer, and that you can have these moments where nobody can see you, and you're fine just where you need to be. There's the Hatsuharu that I got the torpedoes into before, and I'm going to fling a few more out at the Cleveland. But the Cleveland is coming on strong. He detects me, and he's coming on fast enough that I do not want to just hide out in that cubbyhole anymore, because he's going to, I think, make it around the corner. So I'm going to go all the way to the far side of the island. Destroyers and cruisers are not... the Japanese destroyers need to stay away from cruisers. They're very easy to sink if you get a hold of them. And the Cleveland was about ready to do that. Oh, and look who pops up there. There's the Hatsuharu now. He is almost out of health, and normally I don't shoot at anything with the Minakaze's guns because they're so useless, but I'll make an exception when I guess he had maybe 10-20 points of damage left. So I finally finished off the Hatsuharu. The battleship seems to be doing a real number on the Cleveland, and we start to capture A finally. A lot of intense fighting, a lot of ships got sunk in A, but we have A, or are getting A. The opposing team has had C for a while, which leaves B as the toss-up side. Apparently nobody headed for B. There's a couple of enemy battleships that are very close to taking B. So that's where the next battle will be forming up. So now I'm going to kick it into high gear here because if I'm going to do any good, I need to be out in front. You don't want to be shooting torpedoes from behind your teammates. Bad things tend to happen there. So I'm going to turn and head in toward B and see what sort of mischief I can create in there. Now somewhere out there, there's still one destroyer. This is not good for me. I don't want to get into a gun duel if you're in a Minakaze, because your guns are nearly worthless. But the torpedoes, well, they'll make your presence known. And so what I'll be trying to do here is be torping from beyond visible range. Now when the enemy is coming at me, I actually can, it's pretty easy to torp from beyond visible range. If they're running away from you, the speed of the torpedoes and the range of the torpedoes on the Minakaze make it next to impossible. It is there's only about a kilometer of difference between where they spot you and where the torpedoes can reach. And so if the person's running away from you, you'll never get there in time. So the Colorado is closest to me, so he'll get the first treatment here. I can actually shoot while he is not yet quite inside the range because he is closing with me, and I'll be leading him. I do notice that he's actually changing his speed a little bit, so he's actually a pretty good battleship driver. The New Mexico is now going to be the closest to me. Either that or the Nisan now. I'm going to have to spend a few seconds here reloading and come back around. I'm going to come to a stop here because I'm about in the right spot to be. I want to be right off of the beam of the New Mexico here, and I want him to be inside that solid circle down on the strategic map. Okay, he's in there, and now I can fire a few more torpedoes at him, and he is continuing to turn in toward me slightly, so I'm going to flee and let those run their course. I'm going to come back around. Wow, now we have 4 battleships here in B, so this is going to get sort of dicey. I'm going to shoot a few more torpedoes at the New Mexico here in a moment. I want to get make sure I'm within range to the target, and got one more into the New Mexico. Couple more on the way, and got another good firing solution here in a moment. I get detected actually by a spotter plane. I think it's the Gneisenau's up here to my left, and that lets him know where I'm at. This is where it gets a little dicey with so many ships. I can't avoid them all. Got a couple more into the New Mexico. One of them's causing flooding. That's good. And he's almost down, but he's not. And I dare not open up with guns. I instead have to worry about the Congo, which is threatening to poke his nose around the corner here. So now we got a little bit of a standoff here, because the Shores is out there back behind the Congo. And if I come around the point to torpedo the Congo, I will make myself visible, and the Shores will make very quick work of me. So what to do, what to do, what to do. I'm going to start to make a run on him. And I see the Shores is actually turning in, so I'm going to work on a firing solution for the Shores and see if I can get him just off the point. That way, if the Congo decides to come out, he'll also get him. So I'll get a 2-for-1 if the Congo comes out. And there's the solution for the Shores. Looks like somebody else took care of the Congo for me, but I got my torpedoes where I wanted them. So the Shores still hasn't cleared that point yet. And there he is. He's just coming around the point. I'm now detected, but my torpedoes have been running for 20 or 30 seconds. They're almost on the target, and he will not have time to react. He is just going to catch these broadside, and not a whole lot he can do about it. So down goes the cruiser. Now we have 2 battleships left against 2 cruisers and myself. We are down on points by 150 points. We are down. We only got one of the 2 zones. So the first course of business is to get in there and take a zone back so we can start to even up these points. If we don't do that, they can just run away from us and win on points. While doing that, a full health Gneisenau comes in around the corner. Now the Pensacola is up to the left. Pensacola's armor is, relatively speaking, made of tissue paper, and he does the smart thing. He starts to turn left and hide behind the island. Nobody else is. Oh, I guess somebody is shooting at the Gneisenau. That's a bit dicey if you're a cruiser. But I'm going to go in and start to capture B as I intended and start flinging torpedoes where I'm expecting the Gneisenau to be. Now he's going to be turning. There's no doubt about it. If he survived this long into the game, he's at least got some sense of how to survive. So I'm going to stay just beyond his detection range. He knows I'm in B, which is a disadvantage to me. He has a fairly good idea that localizes where I'm at. I really can't expect much help from the cruisers. They're hiding behind the islands, which is probably the right thing for them to do. And I'm going to continue to skirt the edge of the circle, hopefully getting a... oh, look at this. The other battleship popped up. I got one on my left and one on my right. So what do? You kick it into high gear. I can't outrun either one of these, so... or I now outrun them. I will get pinched between the 2 of them. I will get detected. So I'm going to turn on the juice and actually go into the island. I get spotted for a moment by the Gneisenau, but I'm behind the island. You'll see in a moment there are actually some shells on the way from the other battleship, and they're going to land here. And but I'm concentrating on the Nissen now. And he disappears, but the one thing about the Nissen now is they don't turn fast. So I have a pretty good idea of where he should come out. I'm going to actually slow and stop and wait for him, sort of bait him to come out and chase me around the island. So we're close enough that he knows I'm there. Now that's a full load of torpedoes, so he's probably thinking he's safe, but the Minakaze reloads darn quick. So I sprint around another third of the island and slow again so that he comes around. And I actually get spotted here, but that's fine because I'm moving, so he has to lead me. Torpedoes are actually delayed, so I can put them out in front and let him run into them. He's going to blast away at me, even though I'm detected and he has me in his sights. The island catches all of the rounds, and the torpedoes finish him off. Took I guess six torpedoes into the Nissen now to finish him off. That's why you don't play Ring Around the Rosie with a destroyer. So I'm going to go on and cap the center. We're still down 100 points and have to find that other battleship. But I'm going to finish capping here and then head back to where I last saw the battleship. There's the one I shot up before. So we have B. So we're starting to gain on points. But the question on the sidebar there is, anyone have a timer? Are we going to win this thing? It's going to be close. If the cruisers had, as it turned out, turned tail and fled, probably would have won this. There's the Bayern, but now they're in there and committed. First thing, and so there's no hiding now. So the first thing I noticed is the Bayern is actually changing up speed and heading. So I'm going to fling these torpedoes with a rather broad arc and then stay just beyond his visible range. So he knows I'm in here and he's taking evasive maneuvers. But it's a fairly narrow gap, and there's only so many which ways he can negotiate a track through it. I think I got most of them covered. Now I'm coming up. I'm just about perpendicular to him, so I'm about in the perfect position where I want to be. Unless he makes a sharp right-hand turn, he'll never see me. So I'm going to slow here and start to fling a few more torpedoes on trajectories. Now the best spot for me actually has me running into the island, so I'm going to come to a stop here and actually back up a bit. And reload. So my actually this is the second wave, hasn't even reached the target yet, and I'm almost reloaded now. So I'm going to get one more set of shots on the Bayern. Got one torpedo the first time, and we got no torpedoes on that next wave. I'm going to delay a little bit, see if I can guess which way he's turning, get a new solution, fire, and I'm going to turn and come back around, because the way he's angling, I will not get another shot off at him. 49 seconds left to go. We're just about caught up. And there we go. We're ahead by 1 point, and now we're down by 70 points. He sunk one of the cruisers. We're going to have to sink him to win this. So, got torpedoes are tracking well. Down he goes. So, we won, and if you'll check the leaderboard here, we got 14 torpedo hits, 4 ships, and almost 100,000 points, top of the leaderboard. Quite happy with that.